What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, daily news that you need to know about pretty much everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Remember, the new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We cover everything money, investing, the stock markets. If you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We got a lot to cover here today, so let's jump right in. The CDC says today that some immunocompromised people will be able to get a fourth vaccine dose in the future. That's right, a fourth vaccine dose. Check this out. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, issued updated guidance Monday saying some immunocompromised people can get a fourth COVID vaccine dose for additional protection in the future. The federal agency permits moderately and severely immunocompromised adults to get a fourth booster shot if they completed an initial series of mRNA vaccines and received a third additional dose. The fourth shot can be administered 6 months after the most recent dose. The adjusted recommendation comes days after the CDC approved mix and match booster shots just days ago, where a person receives a different brand dose from their initial vaccination. Under this guidance, moderately and severely immunocompromised people who got the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines from their first 3 shots can get a different booster shot if desired. The CDC distinguished the definitions for additional dose and booster shots, saying an additional dose referred to as a subsequent shot for people thought not to have adequate immune response to the initial vaccine series. Booster shots, on the other hand, referred to as a subsequent dose given to those whose protection from the initial vaccine series is expected to have decreased over time. The CDC officially advised immunocompromised people to get a third additional dose of an mRNA vaccine in August. So the earliest third dose recipients would not be eligible for a fourth shot until February. The additional third shot was recommended at least 28 days after the second dose. So some people will literally be able to get a fourth shot if they want to as early as February. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis clarifies that his plan to offer $5,000 bonuses to out-of-state police officers to relocate to Florida as they are suffering a police shortages is not related to vaccine mandates. So there was a lot of media attention about this because he said if you have been fired due to a vaccine mandate, come to Florida and we will give you a $5,000 bonus. He said this does not matter whether it's if you've had the vaccine or not. He wants you to come to Florida either way if you're a police officer, and we will give you a $5,000 bonus. So just to clarify that. So apparently they're looking to offer police officers $5,000 bonuses to come to Florida from the governor of Florida. So, wow, that's $5,000 bonus is a lot. So, yeah, that's pretty cool that they're doing that. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says his plan to offer $5,000 bonuses to law enforcement officers who relocate to Florida for jobs has nothing to do with vaccine mandates roiling big city police departments. Quote, it will be available to anyone who comes. If people are saying it's a vaccine issue, it's not. It has nothing to do with that, DeSantis said after an economic event in North Venice. He added he did not think police officers should be fired for shots, though. The next round of state stimulus checks are going out for several different states here. California's next round of state stimulus checks are going out on October 31st. Anywhere from $600 to $1,100. If you have children, you can get an extra $500 for a total of $1,100 are set to hit on October 31st for the Golden State Stimulus Check program in California. So if you haven't got your California state stimulus check yet, it could be coming this week. So please be on the lookout for that, as they're still sending these out to the tune of around a couple million checks per week. So they are still sending these out. Also, the state of Maine is sending out $300 stimulus checks for the state of Maine. They're calling them hazard pay checks. Pretty much the exact same thing, whatever lingo or terminology you want to use. But they're going to start sending out these $300 stimulus checks or hazard pay checks, whatever you want to use, starting on November 1st to Mainers earning less than $75,000, which is the same qualifications for California, earning less than $75,000. It's part of the state's $8.5 billion state budget agreement that was voted on in June. But the states are going to, or the checks are going to start going out on November 1st. So let me know if you're in Maine and you start to see those checks going out here in the next few days. And when more states announce state stimulus checks or state stimulus programs, I will keep you updated on that in the future as they do this. I just did a big video on 20 different states that are sending out stimulus checks or stimulus programs or different types of stimulus money for 20 different states that I will link you to at the end of this video. And I just did another video on how rental assistance is still available. The Treasury Department just came out and said that 75% of rent assistance is still available from the third stimulus check package, to the tune of like $36 billion or something like that. All 50 states still have rent assistance available. I just did a video on how to apply for that. We've literally had thousands of our viewers get 3 months of rent assistance, 6 months of rent assistance, or 12 months of rent assistance. All states are different. All states have different qualifications. And I literally just did a video showing you how to apply for that. So if you're low income, if you're behind on rent, if you've had unemployment recently, if you've been affected by the pandemic, any of these could qualify you for it. Each state has different qualifications, but I just did a video showing you how to apply for this, and it takes just a little bit of your time. It's completely free to apply. So I will link you to that video and the state stimulus check video at the end of this video. Next up, we have Pramila Jayapal, the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus. She's the leader of 96 Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives, giving us an update on where they stand with the next stimulus package, the American Families Plan. Check this out.
Do you have any, do you anticipate that you're going to get to a place where the infrastructure bill will be ready to vote for this week? Do you think that's happening this week?
I hope that we can get to an agreement and that we can be able to vote both bills out as soon as possible.
Congresswoman, there seems to be some pretty big issues still in the way here when it comes to addressing climate change, Medicare, Medicaid, the expansion of that. Is it possible to resolve all of those sticking points by the end of the week?
I mean, I hope so. We're working hard. I know they're working hard to get there. And I think that, again, if we can all get to agreement before the president leaves, that would be great. We can have an agreement in principle, and we can finish voting the bills out next week.
And is that enough for you, an agreement in principle to move forward on a vote on the bipartisan package?
Well, we're calling for both votes on both bills at the same time. So hopefully by next week we can get them both done.
By next week, okay.
I mean, hopefully sooner than that. We're ready. We're ready. We've been ready. We've been ready for some time.
But the progressive caucus in your position still hasn't changed. A framework is not enough to vote on the bipartisan package.
What we've said consistently, and we've been really clear about this, is we want to vote both bills. Now, we're willing to, if there's agreement on the Senate moving forward, and the president has an ironclad commitment from all 50 senators, we will vote both of them out of the House, but we still want to vote both of them out of the House.
Overall, how are you feeling about the way this bill is shaping up, with a lot of very short-term programs and not a long horizon for making these things really part of our society.
Well, I don't know that that's true. I mean, we've got universal child care.
For how many years?
I think it's for 6 years right now. I mean, it's significant. Home and community-based care is actually longer than that. We have the biggest investment in housing since the New Deal. There's a lot of really good things in this bill, but we have to finish it, and we also have to vote it through. And we have to get the commitment from 50 senators that they're not going to undermine whatever we do in the House.
And just to make it clear, you don't need a Senate vote for, I mean, if it can pass the House first, as long as you have that commitment, correct? You don't need a Senate vote first.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we're saying, listen, let's try to get this all done and let's get it moving, but we do need both bills voted on in the House at the same time.
As the Progressive Caucus are latched
How
on to-
important is it to you that the Medicare expansion and Medicaid expansion remain in the package?
Well,
It
you
seems
know how important it's been. I mean, it's important to us, but we're not drawing any red lines, but we're trying to get it done. I mean, we think both things are really important. We're in the midst of a health crisis, and we need to be doing significant pieces of work on health care for us to get through. So let's see. I mean, look, the thing is, we would have been done with a very different bill a month ago if we only needed 98% of us. But that's not the case. We need 100% of us. And we need two final votes in the Senate. That's really what it comes down to.
How is the Progressive Caucus?
Now, we have some good news and some not so good news. Number one, we have Senator Joe Manchin, sometimes called Two-Face because you never know what Joe Manchin is going to show up. On one end, he's saying that he sees a deal on the Biden agenda this week. So, on one end, he's saying that he could see a deal happening this week, which is really, really good. I mean, hey, if you see a deal happening this week, that means it's all done. Done, finished, finale, finito, kaput. Everything's finished. On the other hand, he's resisting Medicare expansion. And by a lot of other people's accounts, like Senator Bernie Sanders and really a lot of other Democrats, you can't finish the bill without the Medicare expansion, the hearing, dental, vision, hearing aids for millions of seniors. I don't know if the other Democrats are going to pass it without the Medicare expansion. We also have the White House today, this morning, actually just had a meeting with Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, saying that they had progress with them in a brand new meeting. Check this out. The White House is touting progress in negotiations with Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Dun, dun, dun. You know their theme song, right? And President Biden's economic agenda after a meeting late Tuesday with officials expected to meet with both senators again on Wednesday. Biden met with Manchin and Sinema at the White House on Tuesday in the latest bid to get both moderate Democrats on board with a massive spending package that contains many of the president's domestic agenda priorities. Quote, the three made progress on top of what has been accomplished in recent days and look forward to the next steps that we can equip Americans for high-paying jobs, deliver historic investments to make healthcare and childcare more affordable for American families, and take on climate change, a White House official said of the meeting, without specifying any concrete agreements. But now we have Senator Joe Manchin possibly putting the paid family leave on the chopping block, Medicare vouchers, even the $800 stimulus debit card possibly on the chopping block as well. And it kind of makes you wonder, what does Joe Manchin not have on the chopping block? Is there anything that Joe Manchin agrees with in this bill? I'm not sure. Is there? Does he agree with anything? But yet, on the other hand, Joe Manchin sees that they could get a deal done this week. It kind of leaves me speechless. How can he say two completely different things? It's kind of crazy. Senator Joe Manchin is also raising concern over the billionaire tax. Apparently, he doesn't want to make billionaires pay taxes either. You know, the concern over people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, who are worth over $200 billion each, When you combine their wealth, they're said to be worth approximately 40% of the United States, the lower 40% of the United States combined, and they pay almost no taxes at all. Elon Musk's the founder of SpaceX and the founder of Tesla. His wealth went up by $36 billion the other day when Tesla's stock went up by 12% in one day. When Hertz Rental Car ordered 100,000 Teslas in one day. And so his net worth, his personal net worth, went up by $36 billion. The problem is that's all in Tesla stock, and not a single dime of taxes will be paid on that because he has to sell the stock to have any transaction on that. And because he's worth 200 and some billion dollars, potentially $250 billion, he doesn't have to sell any stock. There's no, he already has who knows how many billions of dollars in his checking account. He doesn't need any of it. It just sits there and just grows, and they don't sell anything. So until they sell anything, there's no taxable transaction there. And that's why Democrats want to create, as just one of the ways to pay for this package, a billionaire's tax. But now Joe Manchin is saying, and Kirsten Sinema is against all of these potential tax raises too. And it kind of makes you wonder who's paying them off. And Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin have long been thought of, and they're being paid off by these wealthy donors and corporate lobbyists. That why don't they want to raise taxes on corporations or wealthy individuals, even billionaires? Senator Joe Manchin on Wednesday said he doesn't like the idea of targeting only the 700 wealthiest Americans to pay for a big chunk of the Democrats' spending package, raising doubts over a newly proposed tax on billionaires. Quote, "I don't like it. I don't like the connotation that we're targeting different people," Manchin told reporters when asked about the new tax proposals sponsored by Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon. That would hit billionaires and people who earned $100 million or more in 3 consecutive years. Manchin argued that the ultra wealthy, quote, "bring a lot of jobs and invest a lot of money and bring a lot to philanthropic pursuits. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with that. It's very convoluted," he said when asked about Wyden's proposal. Ron Wyden's bill runs 107 pages long and addresses some of the most complicated sections of the tax code, the myriad loopholes that allows the super rich to pass on wealth through trusts, gifts, annuities, life insurance policies, and other vehicles. Manchin's criticism of the proposal prompts a frustrated response from Senate Budget Committee Chairman Senator Bernie Sanders, who lamented that a variety of Democratic tax proposals have already been pushed off the table. Senator Bernie Sanders says, quote, "every sensible revenue options seems to have been destroyed. So it seems to me that almost every sensible progressive revenue option that the president wants, that the American people want, that I want, seems to have been sabotaged," Senator Bernie Sanders grumbled to reporters on his way to a morning vote. Manchin predicted Wednesday morning that Democrats are likely to enact reform to spread the tax burden for spending bill more broadly, though he didn't specify if that meant closing tax loopholes for the rich or raising tax on people who earn more below $100 million annually or have a net worth below $1 billion. He says, quote, "I believe everyone's going to pay. I believe that we will end up where everyone must participate." And I'm not sure what he means by that there. Manchin floated the idea what he would call a patriotic tax, where that would entail a minimum 15% tax on individuals who otherwise would escape federal taxes thanks to various loopholes. Everyone in this country that has been blessed and prosperous should pay a patriotic tax. If you're to the point where you're able to use all of the tax forms, if you can, to your advantage, and you end up with a zero tax liability, but you've had a very, very good life and have had a lot of opportunities, then you should have there should be a 15% patriotic tax. He said, noting that the Democratic caucus supports a 15% minimum tax on corporations and suggested a similar idea could be applied to the very wealthy. We've all agreed on a 15% minimum corporate tax. This is in relation to the wealthiest corporations that they're talking about. As you can see here, corporate minimum tax proposal unveiled by key Senate Democrats. This would make it so it's about 200 of the largest corporations in America that earn over, I believe it's $1 billion in profits, would have to pay a minimum of a 15% corporate tax. So this means that even though there's a 21% corporate tax rate, that even after write-offs and corporate tax loopholes and foreign tax credits, and after all is said and done, no matter what type of write-offs they have, if they fall below 15%, they're going to have to pay a minimum of 15% taxes. So yeah, keep that in mind. That is something that they're considering, and that would affect like around 200 of the largest corporations in the United States. So yeah, there's really a lot that they're considering here for this next stimulus package. The Medicare provisions, Joe Manchin doesn't want to pass it. Hearing dental vision, Senator Bernie Sanders and other Democrats are saying no, it must be included. The child tax credit, those monthly checks for children, 65 million children. Joe Manchin wants to put an income threshold and a working requirement on it. Biden has said no, we're not going to do that. We still have several different groups pushing to add a forced stimulus check in there in addition to the monthly checks for children. They want to add a stimulus check in there for adults as well, in addition to the monthly checks for children. So really, there's a lot going on here with this next stimulus package. I'll link it to 2 important videos here you can watch next. But if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new updates. I will keep you up to date on what is going on with our country and with this next stimulus package. You can click here to find out about rent assistance, how you can apply and get anywhere from 3 months to 12 months of your rent paid from this last stimulus package still available. And right here is how there's 20 different states sending out stimulus checks and stimulus programs from 20 different states available as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.